And welcome everybody back to the Super Mario All-Stars All for Any Percent tournament. My name is the Elder Spork, and we have an absolute fantastic matchup today. A revenge match for YMGC here going against Mars02. With me today, as always, my best friend, Tecate. How you doing today?
Hey, Spork, I am doing wonderful. We absolutely have a rematch here between YMGC and Mars02. For those of you who may have missed it, back in the round 3, which was the semifinals of the winner's bracket, not the overall semifinals, but the semifinals of the winner's bracket, Mars actually pulled off the upset against YMGC, which allowed him to advance to the finals of the winner's bracket, where he faced ZZZ and losing to ZZZ. And now YMGC has won his way through to be able to face Mars once again. So should be another barn burner of a race. Mars, his current PB was set 2 months ago with a 34.52. YMGC with a 33.56. So that's within a minute of each other. That means anything can happen.
Absolutely, and I do believe that 34.52 is the time he matched in the race against YMGC. YMGC with a sub 35.30 in that race, so this is going to be a lot of high-skill gameplay coming here. This is the final of the second chance round. The winner of this is going to go on to the grand finals to face ZZZ, who made his way through the winner's round in order to get there coming up here. So this is a final 3 matchup here. Tecate, I need a bold prediction from you before we get started here on the video feed.
Bold prediction, YMGC gets his revenge, but this race finishes less than 40 seconds apart.
Ooh, that's a good one. I see that one. I can see it going that way. They're going to start here. We're going to go ahead and get this synced up as soon as possible. They're actually not bad as far as the sync goes. Looks like they are playing in chronological order. I did not see the lineup before we started, Tecate.
Yeah, they will be.
So that means we will be seeing SMB1, SMB2, the Lost Levels, 2U, what the Americans would know as SMB2, and then finishing with SMB3. This is more comfortable for the Japanese runners. They do have their own set of category. Their own category, J timing, where they do have to play it in chronological order. That's not what we're going to see. So up first, SMB1, any percent, the more notorious of the 4 categories.
For sure, and we are in 1-2 already in SMB1. Both players successfully powering up with the Fire Flower, which is the preferred route to do in any percent on the All-Stars version, because you've got enemies that don't despawn, whereas they do on the NES version. You've got all the Piranha Plant hitboxes, which are fixed and corrected in the SNES version relative to the NES version. So it just makes Fire Flower the preferred method to go in any percent for SNES version, whereas in the NES version, some people like to get frisky and just go small only, not what you're going to do on the SNES version.
There is small only routing that you can do. World record at one point was small only. I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head. I know somebody was going after Cosmic's world record, but that was just an insane run to get sub 5 minutes in this game going small only. So Fire is definitely what you're going to see more commonplace in All-Stars.
Especially in races, you're not going to see a small only.
Yeah, that would be... So here into 4-2, they're going to take a little duck, and they're going to tap left there, push themselves forward. They don't have to do the 3 bumps in the NES version. Well, when you're large as opposed to being small, let me correct myself. Both down the pipe, wrong warp, executed perfectly. We're going on to World 8 here.
So there's a good question here in chat. Is there an all for 100%? Yes, there is. Now, this tournament is only any percent, but you can run the 100%, and there's also a warpless category for all 4. So there's 100%, warpless, and any percent. There's 3 separate all 4 categories. So this tournament is the any percent version, and they are already in 8-1, which should be pretty comfortable for these runners, especially with the Fire Flower here. But, you know, slip-ups happen. But As I say that,
Oh.
Mars falling off the back lip of the pipe there and losing his fire flower. So we'll have to see how he recovers. A lot of this is, I mean, this is a category where you're running 4 different games and it's over half an hour long. You're going to make mistakes. A lot of it is about how you recover from these mistakes. So what we're going to have to see here is how does Mars recover from that mistake? Is he going to grab the mushroom in 8-2? Is he going to fire flower up in 8-3? These are the things we're going to have to look out for.
All right, so in 8-2, Mars, I don't know if he missed the jump or if he intentionally played safe, but going up through the steps, ymgc just flying along here through here. So he is going to, in fact, go for the mushroom, keep it nice and safe there. Taking a death is going to be more detrimental than the pause to pick up the mushroom at this point in the juncture.
Yeah, and he is taking it safe here in the 3 Koopa area as well. Ooh, very nice. Bounces off of that Koopa. That can be a little bit tricky. Sometimes the Koopa will throw a different pattern. You might not be able to bounce off him. The safe strat is to wait on that second stair there and kind of duck while the Koopa bounces over you. But Mars just went for it. He saw he got a pattern that he could deal with, and nicely done in 8-2. He's probably going to power up the Fire Flower in 8-3, I would think.
I would think so, too. We'll see if he goes up through here. That's exactly what he's looking to do here. Got to wait for the bullet bill there. Didn't quite get the jump. He's going to have fire going through. ymgc taking care of those hammer bros. Going to take a nice pause here. 242. Avoid the 3. Avoid the fireworks. And we are on to the final level of SMB1.
And Mars got one of those hammer bros that likes to fall right down in your face as you have the fire flower, and he had maybe just a couple frame window to shoot his fireball there, and he got it. So nicely done by Mars in 8-3. He also had a little bit of a trolley hammer there at the end after he shot the hammer bros. So he had to kind of go over that coin block at the end of 8-3. But nicely done from Mars, a great 8-3. And he is in 8-4, as is ymgc. Not going for the wall jump, but he does the coin block reveal, has a little bit of trouble with getting into the pipe there because of the piranha plant, but that allows Mars to gain some time, and he's heading into the turnaround room as ymgc is leaving the turnaround room. We call that the turnaround room because you turn around here, as you see Mars doing, to trigger what's called a wrong warp. You're actually supposed to go down the next pipe, but by scrolling the screen far enough, you trick the game into thinking you're going down to that next pipe, and then you go and turn back into the previous pipe because it's closer, and we do see Mars take a hit on the fire bar there.
Okay, so he's going to have to play this a little safer. ymgc is going to go ahead and go up through, slide under 519 for SMB1. That is a fantastic time, especially on All-Stars. Mars is going to take it a little safe here. Bowser's not going to cooperate just as well, but still 527. Fantastic time. We are now into lost levels. I do suspect both are going to play Mario. ymgc does, in fact, select Mario, and as does Mars02. This is going to be the any percent 8-4 category, as opposed to the FDS version where you have to beat the game a certain number of times in order to unlock the letter levels. You get right to them in the All-Stars version. We are not required to play those levels. As you see, Mars take a death on a very tricky jump there in 1-1. So it's only going to be to 8-4 the any percent. So you will see a couple of warp pipes here coming up.
Yeah, I should mention, despite the fact that Mars did lose his fire flower and had to, take time to recover and get the mushroom and the fire flower, they're only 8 seconds apart after SMB1, so he did really well in his recovery. Unfortunately, taking that death in 1-1. 1-1 is one of the hardest levels in the Lost levels, or SMB2J, the Japanese version as we like to call it. But unfortunately, taking a death there, and will now go into 1-2. Even further behind ymgc, but Lost Levels is such a tricky run that anything can happen. You don't want to take untimely deaths in Lost Levels. So I'm certainly not out of it, but Mars early on is in a little bit of a hole, already being 8 seconds behind after SMB1, and now with death in SMB2J. We see ymgc going in the pipe at around, he gains control at around 7 minutes on the dot, so that'll be able to tell us the separation for Mars when he gains control in 4-1.
Beautiful climb there, 1-2 by Mars. So that was absolutely a very tricky, tight window to get those jumps as quickly as possible.
So Mars gained control around 7:15, so they look to be about 15 seconds apart. And you'll notice both of these players once again grabbing the fire flower. That again is the preferred method in races of SMB2 Lost Levels. especially on the SNES version. It's just the safer strategy once again. For those who do run Luigi, and you can run Luigi in this category, so it's not where you have to run Mario only through all the games or anything like that. You can run whatever character you want. Luigi would have a higher jump, and very often that means players will choose just to use small Luigi only. But if you're Mario, typically you're powering up to fire in lost levels.
And some would say that Luigi is the better run. They do have the correct opinion, but I'll just leave that right there.
I wholeheartedly disagree.
So we are going into 4-3. We are going to see the entirety of World 4 here, so we do get to see a Bowser's Castle. 4-3 is going to be dictated by the bullet bill patterns here. We'll see if YMGC gets aggressive or if he has to stop and play safe here. Looking like he's going to be going... Nope, he's going to pause and wait to see where that bullet bill is. I've seen him use that strat a lot during the tournament here, just to play it safe. We'll see if Mars employs the same safe pattern there. And he is, going to wait for that bullet bill pattern. Let's not tempt fate here with the RNG on this.
And that was a good decision because he got one of those bills that would have been pretty trolly there. So wise, safe strat there from Mars. YMGC clean through 4-3 and into 4-4. As Big Mario, you're going to be able to do this potential ceiling clip here, wall/ceiling clip. He doesn't get it. He went for it. That will save a little bit of time, but doesn't get it. That's okay. He is going to come up to the gauntlet here where we've got Bowser Fire, Potaboo, another Bowser Fire, and Bowser's nice giving him the forward Bowser pattern as we see Mars actually gets that clip, so he will make up a little bit of time, especially if he doesn't take a hit here, and YMGC will probably end up powering up in 5-2. In 5-1, you're not really going to power up, but in 5-2, there are two nice power-ups to get. But Mars closing the gap. You see the difference between not losing fire and then being able to fire kill Bowser. When YMGC touched the axe, the bridge collapsed. Bowser had to flail his arms, fall into the lava. Mars just touched the axe and went straight to Toad. So closing the gap for sure.
All right, he was 15 seconds behind. He's actually made up about 4 seconds right here. In a run like this where you're playing multiple games, it is... still plenty of time to catch up, and he's going to gain a little more time. YMGC having to wait for the troll plants there. You don't want to hit those kissing piranha plants. Mars can just blast through with the fireball. And we'll see. Does YMGC go for super jump here? No, he will take it safe. We'll see if Mars goes for super jump here on 5-1.
Oh, he definitely will. But he doesn't quite get it. He jumps a little early in front of that Koopa, so neither player getting the super jump, both having to do the climb in 5-1. And now YMGC will almost certainly be powering up in 5-2. That'll allow Mars to close the gap even more and maybe even pull even with YMGC after these power-up grabs.
Yep, so you'll see the first mushroom there on the hidden block. Thank you very much. And do not touch that mushroom. The purple one is bad. That is death. And beautiful power-up grabs by YMGC. Just an absolute pro getting into those. That is fantastic.
But Mars only about 3 or 4 seconds behind at this point, so those power-up grabs did cost YMGC some time, both getting perfect vine climbs there, hitting the block right away and climbing up. Nicely done for both players, but this is absolutely neck and neck. These players are just a handful of seconds apart going into 8-1, and once we're in World 8, there are no checkpoints in these levels, so if you take a death, if you fall in a hole, you go back to the beginning of the level you are in World 8.
All right, Mars has gone from 15 seconds down to 3 seconds behind just with one hit. And as I say it, Mars takes an unfortunate death there in 8-1. That is such a difficult jump to make. Mario, Luigi, no matter what, the timing has to be perfect there. And you'll see him go through. Will he go for it? He went for a little clip that you can do there. Doesn't really save a whole heck of a lot of time, but it is swaggy to do.
All right, so YMGC has completed 8-1. Mars is about halfway through, powering back up, and very nice buffer jump there to avoid the hammer. Good job by Mars on his recovery. YMGC, meanwhile, in 8-2. Let's see if he gets the double bounce here. Only one bounce, that's okay. Ooh. And he is able to climb the vine and finish 8-2 as Mars completes 8-1.
All right, so we're going to be coming up on 8-3 here. We're going to be up in the clouds. Pretty standard run. There's some fun jumps there. As you see YMGC, I think he thought he was going to hit Fireworks, had to stop and avoid him. Fireworks plays a little bit differently in lost levels at SMB1. If the ones digit on the timer is equal to the ones digit on the coin count, you get Fireworks. 6 fireworks if it's an even number, 3 fireworks if it's an odd number. So coin count does come into play in this version of the speedrun.
For sure, and very different from SMB1 in that regards, because in SMB1 you're not really worried about your coin count at all in the speedrun. So here YMGC is going to reveal this hidden block, and then he will wait for the pulley system to move that second elevator up and finish 8-3. Now, if you're Luigi, you don't have to wait for that pulley system. He can just make those big jumps and complete the level without slowing down. So this is one of the levels where Luigi is faster than Mario. But both of these players are running as Mario, so they're going to have to do the same strategies, and we'll see how Mars does at the end of this level as well.
All right, beautiful buffer jump to start 8-4 by YMGC there. With a certain button combination, taking a hop, letting go, releasing certain buttons, you get the buffer jump there that's going to help you avoid that lava pit. The intended strat is to kind of jump down there and make your way across. So YMGC, beautiful swim. Coming up into this room, the G room, and brush up against the wall, come back in, you're good to go. Beautiful start by Mars02 to 8-4. These guys are running very clean on 8-4.
Yeah, certainly. So we did see the gap increase as Mars took that death in 8-1. Fortunately, it was on the earlier half of the level, so it isn't a massive time loss, but it certainly will set him back as we see YMGC now approaching our friend Bruce.
Everyone say hi, Bruce.
Bruce is always the man. I'm telling you, he's the man. Bruce is the man. Forward Bruce. And coming up on Bowser, let's see if Bowser's as nice as his brother. He is. So YMGC finishing with 14-23. Mars in a little bit of a sticky situation here. Might have missed a jump. I didn't see what happened in the initial part, but had to wait it out, and now he is in the never-ending tunnel.
All right, the good indicator, there is a statue that you see there towards the end. Not so much on Mars screen, it's running a little darker. That lets you know you should probably stop running so you hit these Koopas. Mars coming up on Bruce. Bruce is not going to be a pal. It's okay. We still love you, buddy. Being able to get the fire kill coming up through. And we'll see how Bowser is. Did he go for a clip there? I'm not sure. But jumps through. He's through flat. 15 minutes flat.
So about 37 seconds apart when they touched the axe, because it was 14-23 versus 15 minutes. And now both players are in SMB2U. As a YMGC having to go through the one gapper there. Didn't quite get the bomb placement he wanted. Had to do a duck jump with Luigi, but no problem. And he is now facing Birdo as Mars choosing the Toad strategy. So different strategies for different folks. You will also see a Mario strategy by players doing world record attempts, which is actually the fastest strategy, but not usually used in races because it's a tricky potion clip. But certainly there are 3 options for characters you can use in 1-1 of SMB2U.
All right, so you see Mars go through here. He's going to go ahead, wait for the bomb, toss it down. He's going to keep his power up in order to be able to jump up through here, super jump. You see YMGC going for the Luigi strat here. We're going to see a key kill coming up here. Unlike enemies and fruits in this game, keys do not despawn when you throw them at an enemy. So if you're able to carry it through to Birdo, you're going to be able to get those 3 hits as quickly as possible. And there you go, done. That's how you finish 1-2 as quickly as possible. We'll see what Mars goes for. I think he's going to go for Luigi strat here. No, he is actually going to go for the carpet glitch.
Yeah, so the fast carpet, what he's going to do is take this carpet off screen, go and spawn another carpet, and for some reason, I don't know why, but this carpet goes crazy fast when you do that, and takes him all the way to Birdo's room, but he will not have the key here to do the key kill on Birdo, so he's going to have to throw 3 eggs at Birdo, but once again, we see 2 different strategies from 2 different players in 1-1 and in 1-2, so those 2 levels are the 2 where you will see the most variation in strategy in SMB2U.
All right, so what you're going to see here is you're going to see a save and quit from YMGC. Now that we've made it to World 4, because of the save feature, we can go back to World 3, and we are going to take a warp here to go to World 5, to which leads to a warp to World 7. It is actually faster than the traditional method that you would see for any percent on the Nintendo, where you have to go to World 4, then play Worlds 4, and then warp to World 6, play all of 6 and all of 7. This is called Save and Quit. There are 2 different categories to get them up for the All-Stars version of SMB2. Being this the faster way, this is the way that is preferred in the all for any percent format.
So YMGC has already executed the warp to World 5. I mean, you saw he was in World 3 for a flash in the pan. So already into 5. This is where you choose Luigi in 5-1 because there's some pretty big jumps here. So you want to make sure you get these big jumps, and you want to make sure when you're doing these big jumps, you're holding down the A button so that way Luigi falls less slowly, and that way he's able to make the jumps. So Luigi is the guy that you're going to choose in 5-1, and very cleanly done from YMGC as Mars warps into World 5.
All right, so coming up on this Birdo fight, this Birdo shoots nothing but fire, so you do need to bring this mushroom, and he is going to take the hit. That's okay, you get a little bit of a buffer there. A lot of times in this 5-1 fight, you're going to take a hit regardless. It's whether or not you can get that second hit done through here. 5-2, we're going to get into some fantastic platforming here to start. One of my personal favorite levels just to start. They're not really tight, precise jumps, but it is a good rhythm section where it looks really good when it's executed properly here.
Yeah, for sure. So YMGC clean so far and nicely executed at this point. Mars, meanwhile, will go up and face the green Birdo, the fire Birdo. And so far, a good fight, perfectly done. Doesn't matter that you take the hit there, just as long as you get the kill. And YMGC doing the vine climbs. Why don't you talk about those?
Okay, so the mechanic that we have in this game, Luigi has a 7-frame window where you're falling off the vine, that if you hit the jump, you're actually going to be able to jump and move up the vine quicker. That is the fastest way to do it. The other characters have roughly a 3-frame window to execute it, so it is easier with Luigi, but it is possible with all the characters, as you will see towards the end of this run. It does come with some risk. If you get out of rhythm, Luigi will kind of just float in the air there. You have to run the risk of falling down to the next screen. So really you have to be kind of on your rhythm here to get through it. As we'll see, Mars, he gives me a great example of floating right there, but he is going back and forth between the vines, which helps. And as I say it, there it is. That is the pitfall of going for the vine jumps there. YMGC is going to take a super jump here to get up there. There is a potion warp, and we are going to be into World 7, while Mars is going ahead to 5-2. The toughest Birdo, which I kind of glazed over because YMGC made it ridiculously easy. This 5-2 Birdo is the worst fight in the game. Birdo has a chance of firing an egg or a fireball. The later in the fight you get, the higher chance you get of getting the fireball. He can shoot anywhere from 1 to 3 of them. Mars misses the first hit. And there's your 3. You got this fish, you got this ledge. It is just such a difficult fight to have go through here. And Mars recovering nicely, getting through, so...
All right. Yeah, so YMGC is in 7-1. He gets the jump over to the ladder here. So World 7 is the last world in SMB2U, the only one of the speedruns that ends in World 7 of these 4. So there is no World 8 here. If you're expecting a World 8, ain't going to happen.
All right, beautiful job on the climb up there for the ladder. We're going to have another green Birdo, so hold on to this one. And again, it's okay to take the hit here as long as you've got the iframes. YMGC makes it look ridiculously easy. So one of the things we missed going over through, we can go back with Mars for. You're going to see the start here where you do have to jump on top of the bird in order to go left. This is another mechanic that you don't see a whole lot of in other Mario games. We are actually going left, getting up here to get the rocket ship to move on. So YMGC now into 7-2. You want to take Toad. You want to have that carry for that speed. This is a lot of running through here. Now you're going to see what we call chain skip. He's going to set up through here, move to the edge, do that vine clip like you see, and we're going to jump on top of the level and just skip the entire maze that you have to go through here and get right to the Birdo, which you're supposed to fight in order to get the key, but because we've jumped over, the key spawns. Avoid the Birdo, get through, move on with the game.
Yeah, so see a little bit of chatter that Mars is, falling further and further behind, and that is the case, but this race not over. We have the hands in SMB3, which is pure RNG. There are 3 hands in World 8 of SMB3, and each hand takes approximately 15 to 20 seconds. So if YMGC were to get all the hands just from bad RNG, and Mars were to get none of the hands from good RNG, Mars might actually be in the lead. So we'll have to see what the gap is after they, finish off Wart here. As you see, YMGC throwing the vegetables perfectly against Wart so far. And Mars, he will be going for the chain skip here. But we'll have to see what the gap is. The interval is between the 2 players, and YMGC finishing off Wart, no problem. 22 for something, I think, if he gets this fanfare skip. 22:46. 22:46. So we'll have to see where Mars falls in relation to YMGC when he enters the door to end SMB2U. But not over yet. We still have hands in SMB3. We still have things that can go wrong for either player, but certainly not in the position Mars wants to be in right now. At this point in the last race, Mars was, I think, also behind, but was catching up. So, yeah, I think certainly Mars has a chance to come back. He definitely extended the gap in SMB3 in their last race. I remember that, but he'll have to have a very clean SMB3 and get lucky with the hands, and YMGC may even have to stumble a little bit for this one to be competitive.
Really, the race is going to shape up once we get past the hands. You see Mars go for a fast strat there. If you manage to get the veggie before Wart fires his bubbles, the next veggie will pop up. It does save a couple seconds per hit to go through. It is the optimal strat, but it is also a very risky strat. You do lose about 4 seconds every time you miss a veggie. So 23, 55, 54-ish there.
Yeah, about a minute 10 behind. About a minute 10 behind, so it's gonna definitely need a lot of hands in his favor, Mars will, or a major stumble from YMGC. And YMGC right now just having an incredible run. No deaths, no major time losses, no major power-up losses. So YMGC just having an incredible run. And if he gets no hands, I mean, this time is going to be absolutely sick. But he is already through 1-3, has grabbed the first warp whistle. He's going to head into the fort for World 1 and grab the second warp whistle. But he will, of course, need to grab a leaf here as well so that he's able to fly up. But he'll do that. He's got his P-speed, hits the question block, gets the leaf, and he is up on top of the ceiling there to go grab the second warp whistle, as Mars, meanwhile, in 1-2. Great 1-2 from Mars, not losing his P-speed there until the very end, but gets his Fire Flower card, and we'll head into 1-3.
All right, so as you see, we're here in the warp zone. We're going to use the first whistle, then the second whistle to get ourselves to World 8. And ladies and gentlemen, it is now time. Get out your resident sleepers. Let's go auto-scrolling.
Meanwhile, Mars in 1-3. He is on the white block there. You're going to hold down for about 5 seconds, and that'll take you behind the scene. You go behind the curtain, and you'll get the first of the 2 warp whistles. As we are in the auto-scrollers, I should mention that, in the NES version, you see all these, cannonballs and bombs and fire and enemies and Mario, and there's a lot of things going on. In the NES version, that can introduce some lag when a lot of different things get on the screen. Because the SNES has some more processing power, you don't really get the lag that you would see in the NES version. So part of the strategies in the NES version is to reduce the lag. Here, you can have a little more fun, but make sure you don't have too much fun and take a hit. You want to make sure you don't lose time by taking unnecessary hits. In this level, it's not going to be quite as big a deal, but you want to make sure, especially in the later auto-scrollers, that you keep your Fire Flower, because there's going to be a lot of boom booms that you're going to want to fire kill instead of stomping on 3 times. That's going to save a bunch of time for a bunch of different booms and boom booms. You see YMGC having some fun kicking around the bomb there, but I love it. He's playing some soccer, some football, for those of you who aren't American, with the bombs there. So pretty enjoyable swag, having some fun. But again, make sure you don't lose your power-ups, especially in the later auto-scrollers.
Yeah, focus is really the main part of this first half of World 8 here. These levels are relatively easy. They do throw a lot at you, but for those of us who play this game several times through, again, it's maintaining your focus, not taking the stupid hit. Every now and then there is a strategy where they do want to lose the tail early on. We'll see if YMGC goes for the fast flower here in the ship. He normally does. This is an extremely difficult grab here. He is setting up for it right now. This is the difficult part of the auto scrollers here. You can see him avoid the cannonballs, go through, get up. He made it look very easy. That is an extremely difficult power grab there, Takate.
Yeah, it really is. And as you mentioned, there is a strategy where you can intentionally lose your tail to make that jump up to grabbing the fire a little bit easier. But that does cost you some time by just losing the power up, having that animation there, pause things for just a moment. So YMGC electing not to do that, and no problem for him. And once we are past this auto scroller, we're on the hands. So let's get your hands predictions out. How many hands is YMGC going to get? How many hands is Mars going to get? Let's do YMGC first, Mars second in your predictions, chat.
I am going to say 2 hands for YMGC, and I'm also going to say 2 hands for Mars. I kind of feel like the game is going to be fair for them both, and we're going to have to see what goes on for the second half.
I'm going to say 1 for YMGC and 2 for Mars.
Ooh.
Which I think if you're a fan of a close race, that's not what you want to see, but, that's just the game being the game. It's 50% chance of each hand, and each hand takes in the neighborhood of 15 to 20 seconds. So now it is time for YMGC to face the hands. First, he's got to go through this little pipe, and then slide down the hill, go up in the next pipe, and it's hand time. All right, he skipped the first hand. He gets the second one. That is the shortest of the 3 hands. This one takes closer to 15 seconds to complete, whereas the others take closer to 20 seconds to complete. You see, he's already through the level there, so he's just got to hit the treasure box there to get a leaf, and he'll be looking to see if he gets his second hand here. He does, so 2 hands. If Mars is able to somehow avoid all hands, he can make up 35, maybe even close to 40 seconds here, but it would still require a mistake from YMGC for Mars to win. But there is a little bit of an opening here for Mars, just, a peek of the window of an opening.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
That's right.
All right, so YMGC through the hands. He's going to be onto the airship here. With fire, you can go ahead and get rid of these rocky wrenches here. You do want to kind of stay to the right of the screen to beat the spawn of the wrench being thrown. Not always going to happen, but it does make the level a lot easier coming through. As Mars gets down, let's see what he's got. He is going to get the second hand as well to start. As we see YMGC here in the airship. Mars making quick, easy work of the second hand here. So coming up towards the end, this is the most difficult of the auto scrollers. You really want to have a power up, a fire or a tail if you're going to play a safety strat here. Mars does get the second hand, so I'm not one to gloat, Takate, but I am going to toot my own horn a little bit. Nailed it.
Yeah, we also have Evad nailed it and LK nailed it. So a couple people said 2 and 2. So congrats to you all for randomly guessing the right randomness.
So I will say, because of the 50-50 shot for him, it is just as likely to get all 3 hands as it is to get 0 hands. 2 hands tends to be the more common one. For those of us who speedrun SMB3, it seems like 3 hands are definitely more likely than 0 hands, though.
Yeah, I think we all remember the negative things that happen more than we remember the positive things that happen. But theoretically, they should 0 and 3 should be equal, and 1 and 2 should be equal. Both 1 and 2 are a 3 and 8 chance, and both 0 and 3 are a 1 and 8 chance if you do the math. And I'm not that good at math, but I think I can do that.
All right, so YMGC making quick work of 8-1 there. Coming into 8-2, you're going to go ahead, maintain your P speed. We got a couple of tough jumps, and the sun tends to be trolly, but beautiful hill climb by YMGC. That is top-level speedrunning.
He's expert at that. I remember the last race as well versus LK, same thing. He just made mincemeat of that hill climb and didn't lose his P speed at all. And he is into the World 8 Fortress. This is not too terribly tricky of a level overall. But you want to make sure when we get there that you get what we call the one cycle on the P switch, and that's going to be the main thing, as Mars is now in 8-1 as well. We didn't get to talk about 8-1 as much, but this is probably the trickiest level in the whole speed run, I would say. Not just in World 8, but in the whole speed run, and Mars perfect through 8-1 as well.
So there is a varying strategy that you saw there. YMGC does get the door on the first run through with the P-switch. There is a second P-switch there to hit traditionally. YMGC used his star at 8-1 to give him a boost there. Mars did not take the star. I'm suspecting he's saving that star for the fort to get through the waffles. It is just a different strategy to go through. So as we see Mars, he's going to take the hill a little bit safer than YMGC. He is through. He's going to the fort. YMGC onto the last auto scroller right here. We'll see the strategy that he takes through here. He is going to jump up and just ride the top of the fortress right here.
Yeah, I think one of the really cool things about both SMB2U and SMB3 is just all the differing strategies you can take, whether it's different characters or different methods of doing things. In SMB3, what power-ups you use when, and things like that. It's just, there's so many different strategies in these games. Even the strategy of just taking the intentional damage so it makes that fire grab in the auto scroller easier. There's just lots of subtle things that players can do differently. Whereas in like SMB1, you're basically just running through the levels and not dying. And SMB2 and 3, there's certainly a lot of varying strategy that we get to see. And it was cool that we got to see Mars versus YMGC, because in SMB2U, for example, they took different strategies in 1-1 and 1-2. We've seen them employ varying strategies in SMB3. But all of these things are really just based on runner comfort. There's not huge, massive amounts of time differences in the end between these different strategies. There are certainly, certainly there are optimal strategies, and ones are quicker than the other. But a lot of it just comes down to player comfort when you're in a race setting.
All right, so YMGC through the final auto scroller. He's to the last level. At this point for Mars, it's going to be a catastrophic mistake from YMGC in order for him to come back to this. So YMGC does not go for the clip there, either of the clips that you have to take there. He is going to go ahead and climb. These waffles can be very tricky, making it look easy. Here's the one clip that you will take. This is the easy one that everybody can do. So coming up through here, up to the donuts. YMGC is just one room away from Bowser and the final fight.
Yeah, so at this point, you just make sure you don't fall in the lava fireball, and you really don't want to get hit by Bowser here. But 35 fireballs to Bowser's head. Bowser's bottom half doesn't even have a hitbox should you happen to take a hit, but YMGC doesn't take a hit, even gets a little swag bump on Bowser there at the end, and he is going to take a victory here in a time of pretty close to 35 flat. We'll see after the fanfare plays what the final time is, but get your GGs out for YMGC. Remember, without two hands, this would have been an absolutely bananas run. It would have been in the mid 34s, but a 35.08 on his live split timer there for YMGC. So get your GGs out. Mars is going to try to finish up. He's in the final level as well as YMGC closes out his run, and will advance to the finals to face ZZZ PC.
So just as we kind of thought it would be coming up here, it is going to be an All Japan final. We will look forward to that in a second. We're going to watch Mars finish out here. He's going to come through. He's into the final room, getting up through there. Beautiful job maintaining P-speed here. He's going to go ahead and get a nice job through the lava there. And 35 fireballs away from finishing the run. Coming up here, he's going to go ahead and go for Bowser to take that jump. He's going to take it a little bit safer here. And as long as he doesn't miss through, he is going to have to wait out a fireball. He's going to be done a little bit over 36. We're probably looking at about 36-20, somewhere in that range. So, but a fantastic run, a great time for Mars. GG's to Mars, GG's to YMGC. This was a great race today, Takate. What'd you take away from it?
Yeah, I mean, I got half my prediction right. I said YMGC would get his revenge. I said it was going to be within 40. Wasn't. It had a chance if Mars had gotten 0 hands to maybe be within 40 seconds. But I just think YMGC showed his class today. Just an incredibly strong run. No really major mistakes at all in the whole speed run. And YMGC showing why he's the 1 seed in the tournament, showing why he's the 2nd fastest time in the world. And he is heading to the finals for an all Japan final between the 2 seed ZZZPC and our 1 seed here, YMGC. But this will be a situation where, because YMGC has already lost once, then he will have to beat ZZZ twice to win the tournament.
We'll definitely get a confirmation on that with Rupert. I can't remember exactly how the format's going to be, or if it's going to be a straight up best of.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the bracket right now, and I see YMGC versus ZZ, and then there's going to be another necessary. So I'm assuming if YMGC wins, there'll be another match.
All right, that sounds good. For now, though, we are joined by our 3rd place finisher in this tournament, the lone remaining American runner in here, Mars02. Mars, GG's on the race. YMGC got you back after the first one. Walk us through that run. What felt good? What didn't feel good? What do you think ended up playing out today that gave the result that it did?
Well, so the hit in SMB1, I think I pressed the jump button too late on the pipe, so Mario fell down and hit the Buzzy Beetle. So that's what basically gave me the hit there. But I guess with the hit and recovery, it wasn't too bad. And lost levels, I kind of don't agree with the Death in 8-1 with where the Koopas were. I feel like I should have hit the Koopa Troopa, but I think I might have pressed left by accident or something, and he went retreated. So, but Mario 2 and Mario 3 went pretty good. I could have gotten sub 36 if I didn't get 2 hands. So, but I mean, not entirely a bad run, but I could have definitely played better.
Yeah, I mean, I thought you played really well. It's just very hard to recover when YMGC makes almost 0 major mistakes. You both got 2 hands, so there was no chance for you to make up some ground there. But, I think the mistake that you said you mentioned in SMB1 wasn't a huge mistake. You were able to recover pretty quickly. You grabbed the fire, you grabbed the mushroom in 8-2, the fire in 8-3, and you're only 8 seconds behind YMGC after SMB1, so your recovery skills were pretty solid.
Thank you. So, Mars, another fantastic run. You did really great in the Mario tournament. You did fantastic in the Mario 1 Warpless tournament. And again, finishing top 3 here in Super Mario All-Stars any percent. You are a very established Mario speedrunner at this point. Is there something about the tournament format that you just feel is natural for you, as opposed to just do it as stream speed run or something like that? You tend to post very good times coming into these tournaments, comfort level that a lot of people don't see, especially a lot of speedrunners really don't see going into this. You have one shot to get this run right.
Yeah, I'm kind of used to kind of like the format for the bracket as in double elimination. I like that. I heard that Rupert was going to change the format in his future tournaments, which, I mean, it's not the end of the world, but I feel a little more comfortable with the double elimination. But I feel that, this tournament went pretty well overall.
Yeah, I think the format will depend on what's being run. I think for SMB1 Warpless, we may go to a best 2 out of 3, which again still means you need to lose twice, but it would just be versus a single person. But I'm not sure if he runs another all 4 any percent tournament, if you'd go to that format or if you'd keep it double elimination, but certainly good feedback. One thing I did want to say, Mars, is that you came in as the 4 seed, you finished as the 3 seed, and earlier in this tournament you did get to face YMGC as well, and you actually beat him in that run, and you had a incredible run in that one as well. But what were your expectations coming into the tournament, and how do you feel you did compared to your expectations? And also, part 2, what was it like facing YMGC twice in this tournament and being able to beat him once?
Well, I expected to get maybe 1 time slower than the 37-minute mark, but I guess I was a little bit more consistent than I thought. And then my first 2 matches were really good, but my last 2 weren't as good. And
facing YMGC, like I said, you got to face him twice. You won one, you lost one versus YMGC. Maybe you guys will get a chance to do another all-four race in the future to maybe make this a best of three. Any thoughts about that?
Well, both times that I faced him, I thought I was gonna lose. I was right once, and I mean, I have fun racing with him. He's a pretty cool guy and all. So, I mean, I'd always be down for more matches with him.
All right, you heard it here first. We are looking forward to the next Mars02 YMG matchup. We'll keep you posted on whether or not that goes through. As we're looking towards the grand finals here, ZZZ, YMGC, we've got the All Japan final, the 1 seed, the 2 seed. This tournament got really chalky, really fast. Mars, what do you think about both runners? How do you think this is going to play out?
Well, they're both perfectly capable of getting like a low 35-minute time, so it could go either way, and I really wouldn't be surprised if like we had the match after. If YMGC wins the match after that, I wouldn't really be too surprised because both of them are really good. But I mean, it's just like either way. Like these players are both really good, so it can go either way.
Yeah, I think if you consider each match close to a coin flip, then certainly it favors ZZZPC because he just has to win one of those two coin flips. But YMGC would have to win both of the coin flips. But I definitely think it favors ZZZ, just the fact that, as Rupert confirmed here in chat, it is still a double elimination format. So since YMGC has lost once, if he loses against ZZZPC in one of the two matches, in the first match, then it's over. ZZZPC wins. If YMGC wins, they go to another match, and then the winner of that match is the grand champion. So basically, as Rupert says, everybody gets a second chance. So that is how this championship is going to play out. And that match will be probably sometime next week. Obviously, we haven't been able to schedule it yet because we didn't know who ZZZ would be facing. But look for the match to be scheduled sometime for next week.
Absolutely. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. This is where I like to give the floor to our runner, Mars. This is the end of the road for you. Again, you finished third overall. It was a fantastic tournament for you. I'm going to leave the forum open to you. Say pretty much whatever you want. Not whatever you want, but just final thoughts from you on this experience.
Well, congrats to YMGC. I really expected him to be in the grand finals, and he proved me right. So GG's to him, and good luck to both the runners in the finals.
Alrighty, and one other thing, just wanted to make sure we thank our friends here at SpeedGaming. Across all the SpeedGaming channels, there's going to be so much stuff going on. If you want to check out the schedule, it's right there in the chat. Looks like across all the different channels, we have Mega Man 9 coming up next on this channel. We've got some Super Metroid. We've got some Azure Dreams. So lots of different things going on right now and throughout the day. They've got a completely full schedule. Speedgaming.org/schedule if you want to check the schedule. So once again, we want to thank them for hosting this tournament. Thank you, SpeedGaming 2, especially for today's match. And that's all I got. You got any final words here, Spork?
The other big thank you I always want to shout out is I do thank 83 for organizing this tournament, putting on this tournament, keeping all of us in check, finding the commentators, getting the runners ready. He does a lot of work, and he just does it out of his love of speedrunning. I just honestly, I will say this every single time, the amount of effort that takes to put on this tournament, and he does it for the most part by himself, is just astounding, and I am forever grateful for all of that Roop does for our Mario speedrunning community.
Absolutely. So that will do it for this edition of the Super Mario All-Stars All 4 Any Percent Tournament. Congratulations to both of our runners, Mars02 with the top 3 finish, YMGC moving on to the grand finals. For the Elder Spork, I am Takate. That's going to do it for this edition, and we will catch you in somewhere in a week's time for the grand finals. So don't miss it. There could be up to 2 matches there. Have a great rest of your day, everyone, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Everybody have a great one.